This weekend saw South Australia take on Western Australia at home in a big national championship clash. And this was a crazy result. So Western Australia got over the line by 67 points, which is crazy. South Australia, the firm favourites in that one. And there's been a lot of talk around Western Australia not having a big talent pool this year, but kind of didn't look that way in this game. But anyway, I guess a few of the talking points and one of the big standouts in this game was the fact that the Western Australian key forwards got on top. I think when you talk about the clearances and the inside 50s in that part of the game, South Australia probably actually edged it and still lost by 67 points, which is amazing, but probably shows the fragility and maybe the weakness in the South Australian backline a little bit. But I mainly want to talk about the performances from a Western Australia point of view because South Australia, they've already played a couple of games and we've talked about a lot of their players, your Drapers, your Sharps, your Camporialis, those sorts of players. So we'll get into Western Australia and I guess the players that caught my eye. So number one here is Max Raw, who's a 197 centimetre key forward. He was magic in this game. He had 14 disposals, 8 contested possessions. He kicked 4 goals, 1. And had 7 score involvements. So he was everywhere inside 50, flying at everything. He is a top ager or an over ager in this competition, being born in 05. So he missed the draft last year, but he's playing super well at this top level at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see where his draft stock kind of lies at the end of the season. Yeah, he was fantastic, and all of the forwards just look so dynamic, so athletic inside forward 50. The other one was Kale Jareen, who's a 06 born, so he's in the sort of, I guess, like normal age for the under 18 players. He had 14 disposals as well, so they got plenty of football. For a team that lost the inside 50 count, your key forward's getting like 14 touches. It's pretty strong. He kicked 3 goals and had 8 score involvements and also generated 4 inside 50s for the team. So, just big numbers for these key forwards who, often you look at someone like a Tyler Welsh and he's getting like 8 or 9 touches and kicking 3 or 4 goals. So really impressive stuff by Western Australia. It was a team effort. Their pressure was really good as well, but those key forwards were the ones that stood out as far as the scoring. Luke Urquhart always impresses me for Western Australia. I think he works extremely hard. He's got good stoppage craft. He tackles really well. He had 19 disposals, so he's not a guy that racks up huge amounts of numbers. 8 contested though, and a game high 7 clearances. So he's always doing that in and under work, kind of the laborious sort of tasks, I guess you would say. As far as ball movement goes as well though, which you probably don't associate because of all the grunt work that he does, he had 605 metres gained. He had a game high 11 inside 50s at a percentage of 84.2 in the disposal efficiency category. So really, really damaging he was as well. He had 6 score involvements. So he's kind of just doing a little bit of everything. He's not really filling his numbers up with like 30 touches a week. He gets about that, 15 to 20, that kind of mark, and then just makes it a really, really damaging game with his contested work and his inside 50 work. Next up, and I have to talk about Beau Allen. He really impressed me with his athleticism. Played as a midfielder in this game, but he also does play in the defensive half for Western Australia. 191 centimetre mid, so these giants are starting to become the norm inside the centre circle. He had 19 disposals as well. He had 7 contested possessions, so he looked really physical out there. Loved his 5 clearances and 6 tackles, and I loved his ability to be able to jump at the ball when it was in the air. So, just really attacked it hard. There was one inside 50 where the ball just kind of got sat up into just an area, and he just kind of just went for it, just made it his own ball, flew it in the air. I love that. He had 1 behind, so missed the set shot there, but he had 6 score involvement, so he was able to get involved in Western Australia's scoring chains. Pushed forward at times, pushed into defence, so his endurance level looks really good, and he's coming back from that injury, so I'm sure there's a lot more upside where that came from. Can't wait to watch him in the rest of the national championships. And the last one that deserves a shout out here for WA is Charlie Burke, a 183 centimetre kind of half forward flank. I think he can play a little bit in the midfield, can Burke, but he had 18 disposals in this game, so it was a really high number for someone that mostly played as a forward. He had 7 contested possession and 7 marks. So he was kind of being that player that sort of linked the midfield to the attack, just that middleman. He had 6 inside 50s. He had 473 metres gained. So that kind of shows you that he got up the ground, got involved in the chains. 78% disposal efficiency for that amount of meterage is wonderful. He kicked 2 goals and had 11 score involvements, the most of the game. So If you want a damaging forward of centre player, Charlie Burke was your man in this game. So a massive game for Western Australia, and I don't want to hear again that they don't have very much talent in their ranks, because this was a marvellous performance. And I think as we get closer to the draft, you will see that some of this stuff will even out. I think there's been a lot more media around the Victorian players so far, and we're going to get a lot more from, you know, South Australia and Western Australia, who have been a little bit forgotten about up until this point as the national championships roll on. That's a wrap for this video, and I'll see you guys next time.